for an hourly wage. I went to high school, didn't do great.
I'm so mad at you.
Cash or education is what I'm looking at. When I get a degree, I will make a
bigger salary, and now
I hope they DMs. I hope they strike us off the internet.
Went to the internet and found education connection. This is what you guys deal with at the
You're
start
ahead of it.
of the show. Welcome, and how's it going, guys? This is the SGO Press Pass, the very first ever episode 15. And I'm in a good mood. We moved up the time 8 o'clock starting today and every Wednesday moving forward because we realize we're too tired by the time 9:30, quarter to 10 comes around. And I'm old, man. And yeah, you know, it's one of those times. So that's what we decided to do. We got a new look, new design. How you guys doing? Dwayne, how you doing? Mandeep, how you doing? Terry, 2K, what's going on? Michael, how's it going? CSJ,
Now is the shout out segment of the show a new thing we're premiering for the 8 p.m. slot because this is not
normal, but I'm in a really good mood today. A really good mood. Guys, if you noticed, I did mail my shirt to Jake. He's wearing it this week.
I'll say, Mike, it fits me a little too snug for me to not think that you've tailored it in some way when you sent it over. So
maybe I did. Maybe I tailored it around my manly body.
It's an attention to detail I wasn't expecting, so I do appreciate it.
We have a good show for you guys today. We are going to talk about building the perfect sports game. So we're in a bit of a lull with everything going on. We have some Madden X factors that have come out. All those details at sportsgamersonline.com. But we're really going to talk about building this perfect sports game. Before we get into the rest of the show, though, this is, as always, the SGO Press Pass, presented by SGO Insider and powered by our friends at StreamYard. StreamYard, the easiest place to multi-stream your own shows. You can even upload a recorded show and air it as live. Check out StreamYard.com to learn more. Also, join us on the official SGO Discord, sportsgamersonline.com/Discord. Join the SGO community and interact with sports gaming fans all over the world. Before we get into the main topic of the day, though, as always, we got to start with a simple question. Jake, what you playing?
I've been playing. My buddies and I are at that stage of playing Call of Duty Warzone where we're over Call of Duty Warzone.
I've been over Call of Duty Warzone for years.
I think this kind of thing happens if you and a group of friends plays the same game for long enough. Where like just at some point you either, you know, you just now you're frustrated every time you play it's just not as fun as it used to be. So I've been playing a little bit of Apex Legends recently. They just dropped that new character. I haven't gotten a chance to try him yet, but
I see that's the problem. My thing with Apex Legends is I wanted to really get into it, but my group of friends we play with, it's 4 people.
Right, and they do 3. We run into that occasionally. My friends and I have been playing. I can't necessarily convince my friends to do the Battle Royale, but they added that arena mode, which is just 3v3 elimination. Deathmatch is not the right word. I don't know why I can't think of the right word, but like basically it's just you're in a little arena, which is you're just in a small sectioned off part of the map. When you die, you're eliminated, and then you win a round once you kill all 3 of your opponents. And so it's more like team deathmatch. That's what I'm trying to think of. It's more like a team deathmatch mode than like the battle royale mode. And me and my friends have been having fun playing that mode. But that means that I've got to jump into the battle royale by myself, and I'm not that good at FPS games. I still been playing a little bit of Pokemon Unite as well. I don't know. It's fun. it's one of those games where I know I'm not very good at MOBAs, but it's an easy enough game, and I play it with enough people that we don't take it that seriously, so it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, so a little bit of the same, I guess, tends to be my answer recently. I've been messing around with a couple of games, but I haven't really been playing them enough to have anything cool to say about them. Yeah, Mike. What about you, Mike? What have you been playing besides mashing through everybody's comments by accident?
Yeah, I'm all over the place today. Escape from Tarkov has been the biggest game where I'm just hooked on it, man. It's such a fun gameplay loop for me. It took a few wipes. Exactly. Tarkov, Fool's Day has it. It took a few wipes for me to really get into it. The last wipe before this most recent one, I really decided, you know what, I'm going to give it the chance, get past the early tasks and really get into a feel. And I got hooked. And now I'm hooked. It's just a looter shooter, but it's more tactical. You don't know who your friends are. You don't know who your allies you spawn in with. You could see somebody and it could be a friend. It could be an enemy. You don't know. It is as realistic as a shooter game as you'll find as far as like your atmosphere around you. There are some physics. My buddy Mapcock Live, Mapcock the Chicken Man, he gets the shout out of the week. He has a really good video if you're interested. YouTube, his channel is Mapcock, Mapkoc. He is Brazilian. That would explains the weird name. He's a very eclectic guy, but he's a very, very, very smart man when it comes to this stuff. So it's something to check out. Kind of goes over like physics and the motion of how the game works. But I've been playing a lot of that. Been picking up some Action Arcade Wrestling again because they're getting ready for the console launch. So I've been diving back into that. Haven't done some Retrofest in a little while.
Wow.
Or Retromania.
The times they are a changing. You start a podcast 30 minutes early and everything changes.
Everything changes. No one's even here. They got so used to our 10:30 slot or 10:30 slot.
10:30 slot.
No.
Man. Just streaming in bed sleeping.
Yeah, it's been a fun time. Justin, a lot of people are in that same boat. Stop playing FIFA, Madden, NHL August 1st. A lot of people stopped playing them way before August 1st.
Yeah.
But that's kind of...
Well, I get that.
There's certain reasons why.
I get that cycle too. That is kind of my experience with Warzone is like we front load a new season and then they announce that a new season's coming out in a week and we're all like, oh, we haven't played at all. Oh no. And then so it's like a much shorter time frame than, oh, I'm sick of Madden 21 just in time for Madden 22 like info dump season, which we're in the middle of.
Yep.
So
and we're at the point we should be getting our copies for review at SGO in any day now. And it's going to be fun to see what Madden has in store fully. And I will be diving into franchise, and that's what I'll be doing our review. Me and Chris handle the Madden review every year, and it's usually one of our more in-depth reviews. So get ready for that by subscribing to SGO and hitting the bell to be notified whenever a new video goes live. And also, go bring your friends in here. Share this stream right now. Tell them how much fun you have. There's a dude in an ugly orange shirt telling you what to do.
So I want to get to our point. I don't want to necessarily talk about Madden a lot.
Agreed.
Specifically because we have so much stuff on Madden up already. We have tons of news recap stuff on all of the X Factors that they've been announcing this week. I think we have two of the Naturals, 3 interviews with Clint,
Oldenburg,
right?
Yep.
Are up on the site. Clint Oldenburg, developer. What is his official title? I should know this.
He is one of the lead producers of the game.
Yeah, one of the lead producers of Madden. We've got two parts 1 and 2, I believe, of that interview up on the site. So I don't want to get into it too much. Oh shoot, I just forgot one of my questions. My my big question, which is the one I thought about earlier today, is so they, like I just said, they've been announcing the X Factors, right? I know you had some strong opinions on the art style that they were taking last year with the X Factor arts. Do you feel like they're doing a better job this year? How do you like the
I don't like
the
them.
like animated GIF versions though?
I don't like
the
them.
secret rare versions. Do you like them better?
No, I don't like them at all. I'm not a fan of like what they're doing with the X Factor art style. I don't know. It makes me think of the NHL did this campaign. I can't remember what they were called a few years ago. Like the Guardians, they paired with Marvel for like or with Stan Lee for their own like NHL Guardian campaign. And it's pretty, I'm going to try and find it and throw it up on the screen. It's pretty, reminds me of that. Yeah, it is the NHL, the Guardians. And that's kind of the feeling I get with these X Factor cards. It's just not something I'm into. I think I'm more realistic. It lends credence to the fact of a lot of fans' complaints that, hey, this is literally just the most they're going too arcadey when no one really wants them to go arcadey.
I will say I didn't hate the ones from last year. I think that I didn't like I like the aesthetic. I don't like the direction they took it. I like the ones this year better. I actually like that they made them look like sort of like cool like sports.
There, throw it up on the screen.
What is this?
This was part of that NHL Guardians campaign. Like each team had their own superhero.
Okay.
2011. Wow, it's been 10 years since this terrible thing. Like they had the Hurricane for the Carolina Hurricanes. It just wasn't good, man. And I think a lot of people watching probably would remember this. Just not something that was good. I don't know why I did that.
I like that they. You don't want me to say nice things about these. I like the direction.
Go ahead. Say nice things.
I like the direction they took them in this year. I like that they look more like trading cards that I would open from, like a Topps booster. But I agree that they're not like. I think if they're gonna do this style, they need to lean into it more and make it look less like. Oh, I don't know. This is a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
I think they should lean into the like. They should lean into it more because it looks less like they just outlined a bunch of guys and put a bunch of filters over them this year than it did last year, which was my big issue with it. But I just think they need to, if they're gonna have like a weird aesthetic, they need to pick one and they need to lean into it. So.
Yeah, agreed. And I like stick to it. And it's fine for like modes like knockout and the yard, but I don't know. It bothers me. This is my thing. I'm not a fan of X Factors because I won't say they script gameplay, but they make it too much on the arcade side where there should be like they get better, but I don't want them to become unstoppable. Like there was the one Aaron Rodgers had last year. Was it Aaron Rodgers where his X Factor, and I don't know if it's back or not. I'm blanking on it, where his X Factor was he couldn't throw it in
online.com.
He couldn't throw an interception against the CPU. Like that bothers the hell out of me. I'm just not a fan of it. Not a fan of it. He is lead gameplay producer, Clint Oldenburg, DSK.
Yeah, I saw that. I
tells us. That. Thank you, DSK. Again, if you have questions, we will get to as many questions as we can at the end of the show. Like always, if you want to guarantee your question get read on the air, leave us a super chat. Any amount helps. It pays the staff. It keeps the lights on here at SGO. But we'll get to as many as we can. Share this video. Let everybody know that we're here. Come hang out. And, talk some sports games. So let's just move into the topic at hand.
Yeah.
We've wasted enough time. The perfect sports game. Can it be made? So this has been a topic that I've kind of fallen in love with over maybe the past couple years. Taking elements from various sports titles over the years and bringing them into one and building the perfect sports game. Now, it doesn't matter the sport. So it's not like, all right, we're going to build the perfect football game. What does it have? No, the perfect sports game in general. What base elements would we want to take from somewhere? So there's things like some of the topics or areas are game modes, gameplay, general features, multiplayer features, accessibility, presentation, creation systems or suites, all these types of things. What would we take? And we're going to try and build, and I'm going to take notes here and then throw it up on the screen as we go. Building the perfect sports game. And we want you guys in the chat, wherever you're watching on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, or YouTube, to give us this idea as well, or give us your ideas as we go into the discussion. So with that in mind, we're going to build the perfect sports game here. And it is going to be, we'll start, what should we start with here?
Yeah, I'm pulling up
Let's
a short
go.
list of ideas here. Yeah.
Let's go with, you know what, game modes. We'll get the big one out of the way. Perfect sports game. What game modes would we take?
Do you want to have a ranked mode at all? Because here's the thing. In my perfect game, there's not.
And I feel like we'd leave that for the multiplayer side of things.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, multiplayer I'm treating as its own thing. These, for game modes, we're going to specifically focus on offline. Multiplayer is different.
Okay. Game mode a little tough because we're not being specific as to what sport we're talking about, but I feel like you got to have mascot mode. Gotta have mascot
no
mode.
matter what it is.
I don't care what it is. You gotta have mascot mode. There are racing games that doesn't really fit. Most of the other games it does. There's gotta be a mascot mode though. I think there's gotta be. I mean, like
it could be in a racing game. You have the spot mascot from the sponsor, so you have a giant bottle of Coca-Cola and a pack of Skittles.
I guess it wouldn't cost them that much more to license that. I guess. I mean, you got to have some kind of career mode, right? What do you think is the best? Here, let's focus in on this. What career mode would you put in your perfect sports game? Like what type of career mode?
This is tough.
Because I feel like I want to default to I want Dynasty, right? Like I want a Dynasty mode.
I want a Dynasty mode or a franchise of some sort.
Right.
But that wouldn't be the only type of career. Like I'm a big fan of single player careers, but we'll talk about that when I get into multiplayer. My idea for that. Hey, hold on. Real quick. Gee Weezy, we are getting serious. All right? We're getting serious. Keep it up, you guys. Keep it up. No.
This APM crowd is feisty.
I know.
We gotta be careful.
I love it. Bembenek career ownership. This is where I'm at. A career ownership. But what game?
So
if I were to take it,
you want to go over the top. You want to be.
I want to be head honcho.
Okay.
Where I can hire my own staff and all that. You know, I'd have to take what NBA 2K has done with my NBA and my league.
Okay.
Like they have, for the most part, knocked it out of the park on all the customization you can do, how you can basically make your franchise how you want at this point, the staff that you're in control of, the finances, voting on rules in the off season. Like these are the types of things that I kind of want. What they've done at NBA 2K is nothing short of impressive.
Well, that was a big thing with the W too, right? Was the aspect of not just marketing your character, but like marketing the league to like improve funding overall. I don't know. I've never played next gen 2K. I don't know if the W lived up to the concept, but a lot of the concepts presented in the W were very cool. So I think I'm with you on the NBA. I can agree. I can settle on the 2K stuff because I think you're right. I think like having a lot of that stuff where like raising league awareness and like stuff like that is very cool. And I would be willing to take that over Dynasty mode. But what if we made it college basketball and then there's still Dynasty mode?
Yeah, that.
I guess it's kind of against the spirit of our thing. I feel like if I'm like, let's mash this up. If the spirit of our conversation is like take a mode from an established sports game and mush them together, I think
it doesn't have to be an established though. If you like the game mode from like 97 or whatever,
right? That's yes,
yeah.
That's what I mean. I just mean like,
like so for like a Dynasty, like I honestly think my league might be the best route because of the options.
Right. Yeah, that's fair.
And if you move away from that, like other offline game modes, like you'd want a My Career of some sort, but what game has the honest to God? Like if you were to use a game as a template of a My Career, like, all right, you get to create your character. You get to literally try and live the life of that superstar, whatever the sport may be. I don't care if it's wrestling or whatever. You get to live that life off and on the field, court, track, ring, whatever. Actually matters. What game had the best? And this is actually tough. And this is where I'm really interested in the chat. What game had the best single player My Career mode?
Now, are you including the story mode?
Not the journey and stuff like that. Not those types, but where you actually had control of your own guy living his life as a superstar.
Isn't that okay? I get what you're saying. Yeah, because that's not, you don't really get that from a Dynasty or a franchise mode, huh? Yeah.
Also, I mean, like, Air Jarrett, we're happy you finally made it one here. You're one of the most. He's one of the most active users in our Discord.
Yeah.
And him and Christian Phelps and some of these names you'll see, they're very active in our Discord. And you can come hang out with them at sportsgamersonline.com/Discord. It's a great place. We all chat. We all complain about the same things because we just want fun games. That's all we want. We just want fun.
I'm kind of with so. And when you said like you like doing the owner stuff, that's so like I don't want to manage concessions.
Are you talking about what Dwayne said?
Yes, here? I don't want to do. I'm with Dwayne on this. Like I don't want to manage concessions. I don't want to manage. Like I want to be able to move the team. But if you gave us a create a team mode, which has to be a game mode has to be create a team. You have creation suite as a separate thing, but like I'm not as interested in that sort of minute stuff, which is to say, like, you know. But
that's why I like.
I don't want to make. I don't want to make right. Yeah. I don't want to make money for the team, which is why I think like my league is a better option.
Because if you don't want to deal with that, okay, you don't deal.
You
with
don't
it.
have to. Yeah.
So a single player career. I mean, the Road to the Heisman might be the closest.
Road to the Show? Question mark.
Road to the Show.
To the Show. I think probably right.
Yeah, you literally get to live out the life of an MLB prospect. So if you used Road to the Show style of, and it doesn't really matter what game at this point, like unless something specifically, like if MLB the Show, like 14's Road to the Show was 10 times better than anything, then like we'd be specific.
Sure. I mean,
but like, right now, honestly, Road to the Show, this year's Road to the Show is the best installment of Road to the Show they've had personally. Same with my league in 2K.
Somebody in Discord actually, I think, responded to the question. They said 2K MLB front office, which I don't know if that is related to our question or if that's
2K MLB front office. It was a very, very underrated game.
I don't know much about it, but I wanted to make sure that we
think of it as an out of the park baseball style game created by 2K.
Oh, sure, okay, yeah.
Or like an NFL head coach type of thing.
I feel like our perfect sports game doesn't have to get that granular because, like, if that's what you want to do with a sports game, out of the park baseball is your perfect sports game.
Yeah, a coach mode would be cool, but yeah, as granular as that, I don't know if that would find its way into this because we're trying to reach that. We're trying to sell millions of copies with this game. Fight Night Champion was an A+ story, but I don't know if it counts. So it counts, but it's just that limited story where you're forced to use a specific character. You're not creating your own guy. And I'm not a real big fan of those types of modes where I'm forced, especially when that's the only option.
Right.
Where I'm forced to live that story.
Mike's not looking for long shot here. He's looking for he's
I'm
Mike's
looking for Road to
Mike's
Glory.
here for a good shot and not a long shot. So what other what other offline game mode?
Hold on, you want to say it again?
Have in
You
mind?
want to do it again for the people?
What other offline game mode did you have in mind? I feel like Road to the Show as the like career focused mode and My League as the like general mode. Like besides like exhibition mode, but like what game had the best exhibition mode? Like
no,
had the best versus mode.
Depending on the sport, I want a skills competition. I don't care what game it is. Madden with their training camps.
Oh, sure, okay.
NHL 2K5 had an awesome skills competition. I actually put that in my wish list of what I want. NHL 22, I would have All-Star Weekend. NBA Live used to have the dunk contest and their All-Star Weekend, which was NBA Live 05. Their dunk contest was so much fun.
So
if you give me a skills competition / training camp, like mini games, that's what I'll put.
Let me pitch you on one, best story mode, and two, this might be bending the rules but we'll get to two. What about for the best single player sports story mode? What about the story mode from Tony Hawk's Underground?
We're gonna move on.
Okay, but listen. All right, at least hear me out. I love your idea of the skills mode, but if, for example, I wanted to do a dunk contest, I want there to be a creation suite where I get to make an attempt to my own dunk. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like I want like a, I
kind
want
of like
a
similar to WWE's old version of the old 2K, create a finisher. We can use dunks as a finisher.
Yeah. Create a finisher like Tony Hawk's Trick Creator, because Underground you could create your own tricks.
Yep.
And maybe that's creation suite, but like I like the idea of the skill thing, but I want dunk contest by way of create a trick in Tony Hawk. So
I feel like that'd be impossible for them to make realistic ones. So maybe we leave a skills competition out and we just focus. All right, we got offline modes, we got NBA, like a My League, and we got Road to the Show. We'll take those. We got the full league presentation, and those who want more granular, only focus on myself. The gameplay. So when I say gameplay, this one, when I was thinking about it, I'm like, all right, we'll take the gameplay from it's basically, my thought is, what had so little bugs, so few hiccups, and played so smoothly and near flawlessly that we're like, this is what a sports game should be.
We could have a more general version of this question, which is like Frostbite Engine, yes or no?
I would take whatever is they build the Formula One series with.
Okay.
Because that gameplay
is that Unreal? I would have to assume that's Unreal. That's just because I don't know what it actually is.
That to me is the continual best engine. It's the Ego engine. That Codemaster's proprietary in-house engine.
Okay.
It's such a smooth gameplay experience. Like, it's hard for me to not view that as an incredible game.
Now, I know we're not choosing a sport, but do you think that would carry over well to football because things are already running into each other? Like, how's the cars hitting each other in that game?
I think the damage model could use some work as far as visuals, but see, my thing, Air Jarrett suggests MLB The Show gameplay. It has too many there's times where it freezes, like base runners will just freeze midway through stealing like second base. They'll just stop. And that is too much of a big hiccup for me to consider MLB The Show. Madden's obviously out the window. To me, NBA 2K and NHL are out the window. So if I'm looking for a gameplay engine, not visually right now, but gameplay engine, as far as how it feels. I'm looking at the Ego engine from Formula One or the Super Mega engine.
Okay.
Not visually, like I'm not saying the game has to look like Super Mega, but the way everything flows in that engine is damn near flawless.
Do you think Super Mega Baseball could be our gameplay choice?
I think it could.
I do. I think that we'll get to Dwayne's comment about. So for the listeners at home who do not have the video up, he said NHL 14 was great because you could load your own music and go horns, which was sick. And I think we'll talk about that probably when we get to Creation Suite, because I also think like.
Yeah, and we can talk. There's
point.
some things. There's some reasons why it stopped, and why they stopped the idea of ripping music from consoles.
It was fun to. I liked playing Tony Hawk on the Xbox because when I burned all of my favorite music to the Xbox, I could listen to it while I played Tony Hawk. One of the things I really liked about playing the Pro Evolution Soccer.
Air Jarrett's got it right. Get the gameplay from 2K20.
Hey, it got a lot of press. All press is good press, right? Yeah, I agree that gameplay exceeds graphics as well, and I think that I think like a racing engine. I think you're right. Is like close to that for both, but I don't wonder if like maybe Super Mega sports game is kind of the gameplay we want to go with. It sounds like that's kind of where we're landing.
Yeah, their gameplay is just that good. It's hard to not want to be that way or enjoy it, not be that way. Think that way with how good it actually is. It's just a very, very, very good product overall. So we have the gameplay out of the way then. But what about...
Well, actually, I just thought of something for the gameplay. Arcade or sim?
See, that's why I like Super Mega. It toes that line.
It's a little in between. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there are enough examples of arcadey visual with sim gameplay games that we could do that. I think that would be a good choice.
Yeah, to me, that's where we're at. I think that's a good spot to land in Super Mega Baseball. Presentation. Now, we're not actually, before we get to the overall presentation, we'll talk visuals. I'm going to separate presentation for visuals because visuals to me are the graphics. We'll talk about like that. Presentation wise, it's like announcers, broadcasts, or do we want to keep presentation and visuals the same?
Well, I mean, like, do you consider visuals the graphics, or do you consider visuals then?
Yeah, we'll change that from visuals. We'll change it presentation and then graphics. So for graphics, if we were to take the graphics from one sports game, Tecmo Super Bowl. Oh my God.
You got to write it down now. We have to do Tecmo Super Bowl. We can't not do Tecmo Super Bowl.
No, I'm not doing that. So that was fantastic. Guys, we didn't private message each other that at all either.
We both said Tecmo Super Bowl. That means it has to be Tecmo Super Bowl.
I feel like it should be. Visually,
I get we could like. Do you want it to be pics? Do you want it to be stylized, or do you want it to be realistic? Because I feel like it's hard.
I think
I feel like for graphical specifically, right? Like it would be silly not to just pick one of the newest sports games that came out. So I feel like we can change the rules for graphical to be like, do you want it to look more realistic, or do you want it to look more stylized, which isn't necessarily arcadey. It's not necessarily like pixelated, but
I feel to get like a game being more popular, you need it to look more realistic in today's day and age, especially in sports games. The closer to sim a game is, or realistic looking a game is, the better it sells. Statistically,
I don't know. I mean, maybe. I'm sure.
Like, there's games Super Mega Baseball very successful because when a game plays as well as that does,
right? But
it's going to sell on that.
Like, it's hard. But it's also hard to say, like, the most realistic sports games is the one that sell well, when really what you're saying is the ones EA, the biggest company, makes,
and
are the ones
2K.
that sell
But the
best.
thing is,
So,
2K's
like,
games, like they don't
know.
like graphically, the players don't look good because they still can't figure out the goddamn hair.
they're getting there. They get
They're
there a
getting there,
little
but
bit every
man,
year.
the hair needs to still be working on. I can't believe we're still talking. I'm still upset about that stuff.
I would rather the visuals be stylized, but if we're trying to create the perfect sports game that sells the best, then I understand.
A lot of people think Esports Boxing Club looks good.
I'll say the okay. I wasn't as sold on the movement until that latest video, which has
Agreed.
shown.
But we're
ton of
also talking about
improvement on
graphics
it.
right now. The movement I would classify as gameplay.
Well, but I mean, like, yeah, okay, that's fair. I was gonna say, like, in terms of the way the movement looks, visually, I think I would have said no before this latest video came out. But, would you do? We could do esports. Their fighters look pretty good. Like,
I think, yeah, we'll take the graphics from esports. This will be the most controversial. Like the graphics from Esports Boxing Club. Oh, someone will watch this back afterwards and complain about it.
Look, somebody's already asked me to stop stuttering and spit it out, so we're gonna get it either way. It's gonna be fine.
Who's being mean? So we have that. So now presentation. A lot of people are saying NFL 2K5 with presentation, and it's hard for me to disagree. Okay. Pre-game, yeah, halftime, post-game shows, highlight shows. Like you take modern day graphics and put that type of presentation on it, a true television feel. It's hard to fight against it, right?
Well, so like I know that this is something that means a lot to you, and I'm not saying that in a derogatory way. I just mean like I have heard you be passionate about like media packages and stuff like that. So I'm willing to let you. I'm willing to let you say, like, if you think that that's a really, really great choice, I'm willing to back you on that, because I know that this is something you know way more about than I do. So
yeah, media plugs. It's that niche thing that I seem to have gravitated towards in my career, whether it's television, like watching sporting events. Like if a new score bug gets debuted, you see me analyzing it on Twitter like immediately, like what I like about it, what I don't like about it, what's even off center. Like the new CBS NFL that they debuted during the Super Bowl this past year. The timeouts were off-centered, and it was and the numbers of the score were misaligned compared to the clock ever so slightly, and I noticed it. And oh my God, it's so hard to look at. NFL 2K5. If you bring that presentation to modern day visuals, it would kill. It would absolutely kill, especially if you get the splicing right, because obviously there were still some splicing issues back in the PS2 and Xbox days, original Xbox, that aren't there anymore for a lot of games. A lot of games when it comes to audio don't have that. So I'd say
people have been saying 2K5 or have some form of the 2K games since like we started the stream too, so that seems to be pretty popular. The CP Kid again in Discord says Bally Sports meets 2K5. Again, Bally Sports is another thing I'm not super.
Bally Sports bought Fox Sports. It's a casino.
Oh,
and
okay.
Bought the Fox Sports RSNs. It has the rights to all of those. So
now, customizable score overlay might be.
Didn't want that.
I've been replaced.
You've been yes. You have been replaced.
I'm the list now.
You are, yes, you're the list.
2K college the list of presentation was pretty solid too. I know that
I like theirs. I also liked, for the most part, NCAA basketball 10s. They had, the two broadcasts where you could be on CBS or ESPN, two different sets of commentator crew, which didn't come back until NBA 2K21 on Next Gen. It's when they finally brought back multiple broadcast crews, when it was done 12 years ago. Like, come on.
Do you think that like realism not realism, I guess. Do you think that like immersion would be under presentation as well? So like
Yes.
having the stadiums down, having the fan chants in and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I guess we can do a mix.
Yeah, well,
But-
right. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think we could go a second game for presentation if we're doing a second.
What
stadium.
about-
do you?
What about
Well, do
EA
you-
Sports FIFA? They've always had a good presentation in my
See,
mind.
that's what I was gonna say. Is like, say what you will about FIFA's gameplay, but like, I feel like they focus on that kind of like getting the stadiums right, getting the likenesses right in a way.
And
that,
Martin
like, not
Tyler
lot
is
of
a
other
great
games
video
do.
game play-by. I mean, he's a great play-by-play guy in real life, but oh, he's so good in that role with FIFA. So I'd be willing. You take a mix of NFL 2K5, and then we can just say FIFA, EA Sports FIFA.
The only other thing I would want to add to presentation is whichever one of the NCAA games, which I want to say was NCAA football 12, had marching bands. So
Yeah, I
want
remember the marching
in.
bands.
So that's my other thing is I want the marching bands back in at halftime. That's my other. But we don't have
Wayne
to add
mentions, you remember when the NHL had the NBC presentation? All right, Wayne, you're going to get me on my little soapbox here. I hated it because I think Doc Emmerich is the most overrated play-by-play man in all of sports, and everybody needs to get off of him. All right? He isn't that good. I don't care. Not every shot from the point needs to be a drive. I don't give a shit. No, he's not good. Never was good. Overrated trash. NBC's score bugs have been the absolute worst from the time they started even getting at Sunday Night Football. Like, whoever they got in their graphics department is just god awful. Their score bugs are just ugly garbage. I mean, their new one that they debuted for the Stanley Cup playoffs this year, their new one looked like a baseball scoreboard. This without they had even the spot. They had a diamond and then the team names as if the diamond was there for the spots. And it's like, are you kidding me with that? Get out of here. No, I'm so happy EA going, and everybody complained that the NHL series made it too arcadey when they went to the visual presentation they have and with the play-by-play they have. James Cybulski is fantastic, and I prefer everything they have presentation-wise over what NBC brought to the table. It is just, all right, there's my soapbox for the day. Kenyon X, why won't Madden get Sunday or Monday Night Football? Money. The money. Kermit the Frog. Yes, Doc Emmerich is nothing more than Kermit the Frog here. And he takes the drive. He scores. The Kings win the cup. Bite me.
The energy on 8 p.m. podcast is wild. Chase brings up an interesting point, which is the idea that some of the commentators are very good at like commentating live football, but just don't sound very good when they're reading from scripts. And I actually kind of feel that way about a lot of the people who call plays in sports games. Is like, it's like, I know that you can only do too much, but like you can't just let someone make it up as they go. Obviously you'd be paying them for a gajillion lines.
What they're trying to do though is I know NHL started to try and do it. They would just play a gameplay out, pre-recorded gameplay, and then they'd have them go, all right, call the action as if you're calling a live game. I don't know how well that works, but yeah, because you get into that, you're recording for a bunch of lines. Cody Holloway is the CP kid.
Yeah. I was telling him I saw that message in Discord, so.
Yeah, NCAA 10 was good for presentation. The gameplay was awful, especially compared to 2K8. I liked NCAA 10, though, quite a bit. We will move
Yeah, I think we've got presentation I think between those two, I think
those two, I think we're good.
Pretty well covered.
We'll jump over to accessibility, and for me, the game that screams most accessible is Formula One.
F1, right? Yeah, I think that any good sports game. I think that any sports game should be as granular as Formula One lets you be, in terms of, how hard or easy it is to drive the car, but I also think it's important that like, and this might be kind of hard for accessibility because I can't like name a game that does this necessarily, but like, you know, you should be able to, you know, custom assign buttons. You should be able to change your controller
Layout.
inputs.
Yep.
Layout. Yes. Thank you. You should be able to change your controller layout. You should be able to use, you know, third-party controllers that make it easier to play the game if you can't, you know, if you can't hold a controller, for example, the same way that, you know, a lot of people are able to. So like,
Exactly.
and again,
They
that's
just
not
do it
really
so
like,
well.
it's not necessarily that I don't know how much F1 does that. I imagine it does a little bit because you got to be able to use a racing wheel, but like, you know, I think a good accessibility suite for any game is like let someone be extremely granular with like difficulty. Let somebody be extremely granular with, you know, all of the ways in which you play the game. Like can fine tune it to make it easier or more difficult if you would rather do that too. And then also just like you should be able to use any controller that helps you play a game better, and there shouldn't be any like native issues.
Agreed.
It, so,
Wayne, do you like the NASCAR Heat presentation? No, it's bad. So everybody says Gary Thorne, the best broadcast. Jim Houston, Dwayne here, Gary Thorne. Jim Houston to me is the number one. Jim Houston was the voice of the old NHL games, and he's just so good. Like, granted, the splicing, I'd like to see Jim Houston behind the mic of an NHL game again with modern day splicing technology. It would just be fantastic. Yeah, Bob Cole, I like. Bob Cole, I don't think could ever have done a video game. All right. So we're getting close on time. And we got multiplayer modes and Creation Suite. We'll start with Creation Suite. I feel like we can get through that quick. Air Jarrett says, might be unpopular, but the best Creation Suite is WWE 2K. WWE 2K14 had the best Creation Suite in all of wrestling games. Maybe a close second is WWE Raw 2 for the original Xbox back in 2003, because you were able to adjust the individual lighting segments. Basically, every individual light you could adjust the color of and have just a Pollux easel of light.
I stand by my belief that the SmackDown 2 Know Your Role Wrestling Creator Suite is probably one of the most interesting ones I've ever used. So, and I know that they've improved on that. I just haven't played the other version of it. I'm just saying, like, I would believe that like WWE 2K probably does that better than a lot of other.
Yeah. This is tough Creation Suite wise. It's hard for me to not say what 2K offers, whether it's WWE or NBA, because NBA both allow you to import your own logos and designs from the computer. You just upload them there and you download them. You can import your own face scan and make who you want. You can pretty much do whatever you want creation wise for NBA 2K, for teams. I mean, shoes, everything, man. Like 2K is just fantastic with that. And WWE 2K, at least if the game maybe broke it, but the Creation Suite still works. So it's hard for me to not go just 2K Sports, even PGA Tour 2K. I could just put 2K Sports and I think I'd be happy.
Well, because 2K has the golf club course builder now too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be. I don't know if that's cheating to say all of 2K Sports, but yeah, it does
I'm
sound
doing
pretty
it. All
good.
All 2K Sports. 2K Sports.
That does sound good. Could you imagine if those three? I know they're three different independent developers, but if they could all work together on one thing, I feel like they could really knock it out of the park.
Right? Right? Feel the same way. All right. That was easy. Now, multiplayer. No ultimate team or microtransaction mode of any kind. I ain't adding that. I don't care how much money it would make me. I want fans to be happy.
We want realistic graphics so that we can make the most money, but we don't want to put in the money maker. That's what you're telling me?
All right.
Sorry, am I muted?
All right. Tell the people why you want to steal their money.
I don't know what you. I don't like this. I wish you didn't have. Take control away from this podcast from Mike. There's nothing you guys can do, but well, I don't for multiplayer. Oh, you know what I want? A spectator mode. I want there to be a
An
spectator
awesome
mode.
spectator mode would be
Here's
fantastic.
two things I want. I want a functional spectator mode, and we can say, well,
I'm gonna say spectator mode, and I'm gonna just steal it from a game, and I'm gonna say iRacing because you can watch anything you want.
That's perfect. Here's the thing that I would steal from a non-sports game. So again, I don't know if this is
Go for it.
Are you familiar with the concept of salty bet?
Yeah, salty bet is the greatest thing ever, and I watch it every day at work.
So I would love.
I have no more money.
I would love a
money
way to also bet on the games you're spectating.
Yeah, especially with how now, not with real money. We're saying
no. I want there to be some kind of in-game betting currency.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be something you can spend.
Use for anything else. Yeah, because like a salty bet, it's just fun, stupid things. That would be actually really fun, especially with sports gambling. Salty bet like wagering, we'll put. Yeah. And it's a fighting game. We can count fighting as esports.
that's a sport.
We are branding out. Also, if anybody's listening, we are looking for esports reporters at SGO. Go to sportsgamersonline.com and click join our team to learn more about the positions open. Other multiplayer, I want to see my career. You know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to steal from F1 2021 because they got a multiplayer career mode.
I was going to say, do we want to do that? And I think so, yes, probably. It needs to be multiplayer in some way.
For whether it's NBA or whatever, I want that back. A Pro-Am, like what NBA 2K has, I would like. Really just team up with a single group of people and go play. The park mode, a lot of people are saying NBA 2K Park.
Really? I didn't know that the park was so popular.
The park is hugely popular.
In my impression is that people like the park more than the city, but not from this chat, mind you, just from
overall. Yeah.
From just like doing this job and being on Twitter, which, Twitter not always the best way to know that stuff, but
a multiplayer career like what F1 has would be nice. Online franchise, no matter what it is. I feel like, but with that,
right, and I mean, we could just. Is there an example of that?
We could do online franchise would be NBA 2K. They do it the best again because they take their My League and allow you to bring it online.
Yeah, okay, that's true. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, and if anybody has a different, I don't want to steal too much from 2K, but they do so much off the court so well.
Yeah, if they could just make the hair look right, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think we're good with what we have. Do you have anything else for multiplayer? We'll recap what we have in a minute.
Somebody earlier, this might be Creation Suite. Somebody earlier said that a must-have for the perfect sports game is like roster sharing and team sharing. I don't know if there's a game we can peg that to, but I kind of agree with that sentiment.
And that'll be the show. Madden.
We could pick one. But
NBA. We'll just do MLB the show because they do it so deep. Yeah, MLB the show's roster creation is.
Yeah, you're right. It's MLB the show. Yeah, you're right.
Because I mean, you look what Scout Scoops does.
Well, and they got that stadium creator in there too, which you can also share, right? So
yeah. So roster sharing from MLB the show. I mean, I think we have a pretty.
Did we put the park? Because I'm on board with the park because it seems like a lot of people like the way the park.
I'll just do NBA 2K Park like neighborhood mode.
That's neighborhood mode might actually be the right term for it, I guess.
All right. So let's talk about what we have here for the perfect sports game for a minute. Game modes, offline. My League from NBA 2K, and then Road to the Show from MLB The Show. With the gameplay of Super Mega Baseball, the presentation mixing from 2K5 and FIFA, the graphics of EA Sports Boxing Club, multiplayer modes, a spectator mode for iRacing, a salty bet like wagering, which I love. I didn't even think of, but I love that idea now. And I want to see that because you have it in Twitch chat all the time. Like when I watch racing streams in Twitch chat, it's like, all right, bet 100 channel points for a top 5 finish or whatever. A multiplayer career like F1 2021, an online franchise similar to what 2K's My League offers when it comes to settings and customization, and then an NBA 2K neighborhood mode, like neighborhood mode. Accessibility, F1 2021 allow you to do whatever you want and play however you want. And no matter what you have here. Creation Suite, 2K Sports, anything creation that they do. And then roster sharing similar to MLB The Show. I feel like we'd have a really now Ryan brings up a good point. 2K Online's very clunky and bad. I'm not talking about the servers. The servers were that we'd have to figure out. That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah. Conceptually, we have a lot of love and respect for what 2K is doing. Not necessarily, I would say in
servers we need to, is a whole nother thing. Gameplay sliders, setting sharing, make the yard free roam like Park. The yard free roam would be pretty cool.
Setting sharing is in NBA 2K, right? Is that
I
am
believe
I right
so. I believe it
about
is.
that? I think so.
But I think we'd have a good game. Would you guys in chat? Would you guys buy this game? Yes or no? That's all I want.
It's hard to conceptualize the monster that our two Frankensteins have put together. But
this is going in an article at some point on sportsgamersonline.com.
Yeah, it'll be up on Friday, I'm assuming.
Yeah, we're like this perfect sports game here. But we got a short time for Q&A. We got time for maybe 2 or 3 questions, except if you want to throw us a super chat, we'll stay on as long as we get super chats. Why hasn't I will get NHL out of the way. Why hasn't NHL news come out yet? Because the game's probably launching in October, guys. The game is likely to launch in October, late September at the earliest, but it's looking like October once again for the second straight year. Things are coming soon. It's just now all of my messages are being unreturned. And this is where I start to get worried.
Really?
They're not, even my sources aren't messaging me back.
Oh, for NHL? Interesting.
For NHL.
We're asking too many questions.
Are we ever getting EA Sports PGA Tour news? Probably by the end of the year, we will have some. I think by the end of the year.
I feel like generally speaking, and I think this is in the spirit of the question, I feel like we put a lot of weight into that EA Play event that just...
Because they made us put a lot of weight into it by saying us...
Right, I'm not saying it's our fault. I'm saying...
No, I get you, though.
I think that I think the EA Play event, which was maybe billed as a bigger thing, actually had a fraction of the news maybe we and other people were expecting they would have.
Dwayne says a $120 deluxe edition. Is that that's what we'll charge?
Oh, is that us?
$120. $120 Canadian, which
Canadian? What?
Yeah. Well, no, that'd be cheaper. 120 US, which is like 150, 160 Canadian. NASCAR. So we are looking later this month. We will get some more details on NASCAR 21. They are releasing screens here and there of like little teases of the tracks and the game in the Unreal. And guys, it looks good. It looks incredible. It looks better than anything they've had over the last few years with NASCAR Heat. You guys, from a presentation standpoint, will be blown away at least. Now, I can't say on the gameplay because I haven't played it yet, but I've seen it.
Sure.
So from the visuals and the presentation, you guys are sure to be blown away. Okay.
That kind of covers. I had a question from earlier, like very early on in the podcast, that was essentially by Bembenek 51507, probably Bembenek. That's basically asking, like, what about NASCAR 21 rebuild do you think they have done right going with R Factor 2 and Studio 397, which I think
the physics are going to be a lot better. That I know because R Factor 2's physics are better than iRacing, and that's the main competition there. But the visuals, my God. It looks nothing compared to what the Heat series did. Like they made, guys, it's beautiful. It looks pretty. Very, very pretty. Is WWE 2K22 going to have a roster? No. What's so funny?
It's just a funny question. It's a funny question because I think it's a legitimately good question.
Yes.
And it's kind of a bummer.
Another release, the Bray Wyatt release, which, oh my God, he's my nephew's favorite wrestler. He's got so much merchandise of Bray Wyatt from The Fiend and before and the Eater Worlds. I feel bad for him. Any news on how EA College football is coming together? They're working on rights deals right now. Like it's being built, like obviously behind the scenes, obviously it's being developed. But the focus right now is trying to get rights and get the schools that said they wouldn't be part of it, like a Notre Dame, back in the fold.
Right. And I think we'll probably keep seeing questions about EA college football, and I think that's fine. But I think it's another 8 months before we hear anything more about that game. So,
Double OT, the Olympic game is really good in the Creation Suite. I don't know much about it, to be honest. I did not play the Olympic game because I'm just not a fan of them. You know, we did not. We've made it a whole show, Jake, and we did not get asked a question about a certain game, and I'm not going to mention the game. Don't mention the game.
That's really respectful of you, actually. Wow. I got one more question. Well,
yeah, we got time for one more, unless people want to throw.
This doesn't have to be the last one, but
yeah, no, we got time for one more, unless you guys want to throw super chats our way.
DSK1317 asked. He said at the end of your last video, you mentioned an unannounced Madden 22 option, which I don't remember that happened, but it sounds like a thing we would have said.
Unannounced Madden
they
22
said
option.
they said I'm curious if that will be revealed. They say tonight. I would change the question to anytime soon, I guess. But I don't remember us talking about that necessarily.
Yeah, I'm confused as what if you want to get at us on Twitter, what I'll be happy to answer if I can remember.
My best guess would maybe be, I know that you have talked about you've talked about some things that you can't say that you know people are really going to like with that game, so it might have been something like that. Like, do we know if any of those features are going to get talked about more in the near future?
They do have a little. I mean, the scouting was the big thing that I couldn't talk about. Some of the go check out on SportsGamers, youtube.com/SportsGamersOnline. Go check out the Naturals interview with Clint Oldenburg. It's a very in-depth interview. He got about, I think, a half hour, 40 minutes with him, and just talked football, talking about blocking, the trenches, the gameplay, running backs, everything, how everything feels. It's a very good interview.
Yeah.
And Justin Stevens had to go out and mention the game and bring bad karma onto the show by mentioning the name of the game. And you're not going to get the gratification.
NBA Live.
Shut up. Okay. I was not even going to put it on the screen, but since you mentioned the game,
I thought you were talking about Sim Golf.
No, that I was going to actually let die. I was going to let it die. But the perfect sports game will have the relaxation features of Sid Meier's Sim Golf.
You can find me. You can find me on Twitter at @the3 composer. He's at Mike Straw Media. If you want to know, I'm not as good at the outro. I can do the intro now, I think, but I can't do the outro very good.
Make sure you subscribe to us at youtube.com/sportsgamersonline. Hit that bell to be notified whenever new videos go live. Tune in every Wednesday at 8 p.m. here on YouTube, on Twitter. We don't know if we'll be on Twitter again. I don't know. We might just keep it to a YouTube show. We haven't decided yet. Join the Discord at sportsgamersonline.com/Discord. Check out what SGO Insider has to offer you at sportsgamersonline.com/insider. And until next time, guys, we're out.